Hey, what's everybody? This is Post. We have our week 2 matchup in the PWC against the Minneapolis Manetrics. It's against Ruben. I face this kid a lot. I've been in 2 leagues with him. So yeah, this is not the first time we play each other, so we kind of know how we like to play. Yeah, so for our team, sadly, nothing special really this week. Nothing crazy. We have just a Tail Glow 3 attack Manaphy again, Scarf Excadrill, a mixed defense Cress, because I wasn't sure what kind of Mega Altaria he would bring. So I wanted to at least have a little bit of coverage on both sides, because that thing is very threatening. And then I'm also running just an Life Orb, Nidoking, and Assault Vest Scramble with Play Rough, Close Combat, Ice Punch, and Fire Punch. It actually does do a lot to his team. The only thing is I don't know if we will take many hits from it. That's one thing, but it has great coverage against this team this week. And then I have a physically defensive Dusknoir. I dropped physically defensive. I really thought the Scolipede was going to come, and that was pretty much my only way of checking it. But as you can see, his team is kind of scary. I kind of figured he would bring this. I was not really expecting like the Shaman to come or the Magneton, just because I do have normally have good counters to him. But yeah, I didn't know who he was going to lead off with. I was kind of thinking maybe the Mammal Swine. I was kind of thinking it was a lead sash set. Maybe the Mega Altaria gets off that Mega Evolution. So I wanted to lead off with Dusknoir just to that way I can Will-O-Wisp it or see what happens at that point. So see what happened. I come in. He actually leads off with the Shaman. And first turn, he goes for Seed Flare, and shit. I did not think, A, he was going to bring this really, and B, I did not expect a Life Orb offensive set. I don't know why. That just planning for this, that completely slipped through the cracks of getting some sort of check for it. I would have been fine originally. I did have this thing especially defensive, but I did change it kind of last minute to physically, just expecting the Scolipede. But as soon as I saw this thing in that Life Orb, I knew this was not good for me. I don't have a check for it. He is outspeed naturally. Pretty much everything on my team this week, except for the Escadrille, and if it is positive speed nature by Manaphy. So right from the get-go, I just fire for Shadow Punch just to get a little bit damage off, and second turn, I have to sack this thing off because I have 0 switch-ins to it. So yeah, that sucks. I really wanted that Will-O-Wisping ability. So I just go into into Crest because I know I can take one. I'm just going to fire for Nice Beam. Hopefully it can do a good enough chunk of damage. There's third one, so I can take it out here, Buddy Rest. And with Natural Cure, that is actually, I didn't even think of that happening. It was very smart on his part. So yeah, at this point, I'm just kind of worried. I have no clue how I'm going to take that thing out. He switches out into his Melodic, which is good. I also a double switch, though, and go into Swirly. That is a ballsy move right there, by the way. This thing is his check to Nido. So he got a, I don't know if you predicted that or what, but he got a very good switch in there, and there is no reason I should have stayed in, but I needed to see if this thing was physically or specially defensive. This, which I did find out was special at that just from doing the damage there, only doing 44% from a Life Orb, Sheer Force, T-Bolt. As soon as I saw that, though, I knew his Zapdos was physically defensive at this point, so it did help me kind of go with his team a little bit, which actually worked out for me, though, in that really stupid play, because he just went for Toxic, so I got a free Thunderbolt off. At this point, I will switch out, go into Manaphy, because I know he can't really touch me, and I figure he's just going to recover. At this point, okay, he goes into his Magneton. I knew he was going to. As soon as I did calcs for this, I realized it was going to be a Choice Scarf set. So this is where the game kind of gets messed up. I'll just go through at the end. I'll tell you why. I do go for Tail Glow, and I know I can live one Thunderbolt from this thing as long as I don't crit. So I can. I'll take it out. And if he gets Magneton's gone, it wasn't really that big of a threat to me, but it was the only thing that can take this out. At this point, he goes into his Mammal Spine, and I have to hope I can live an Ice. I don't live an Ice Shard. It is Life Orb, so that kind of killed it. At that point, Manaphy one-shots pretty much everything, except for the Melodic, but Melodic can't do anything really back to it. as you see, sorry, right here. I do fire off a player off as he gets up his rocks. I just want to get damage off. At this point, I kind of predicted him to switch out, so I did Ice Punch. Hey, I finally got a prediction right. Sadly, it's not 2-hit KO though, so he is just going to switch out again because he's only have. I'm just going to go for another one just in case he does try to. Excuse me, in case he tries to stay in and just get off damage off this thing. I let this thing get toxic. Like I said, it's not. I don't need it. And then he has freaking Q Charm. I can't believe that actually worked. Not because I understand the whole 30% thing, but the fact that that actually set it up, because I just keep my genders on random. I don't change them ever. And the fact that Q Charm actually came out, worked, and I was immobilized by Love twice just sucks. Because I could have taken this thing out. I was doing more damage than his recovers were, and I would have gone down to Toxic. But yeah, at this point, I'm just going to go into Hans. I don't think he's going to stay in here. I predict him to go into the Zapdos, but he does go into the Altair, which is okay if he makes like Rock Slide. At that point, it is super effective. And I can see that this thing is a bulky set. I'm just going to switch out, though. I can't risk this thing. That thing is where my win condition, pretty much. I'm going to go into my Crest. This was my check to it. And he's going to Earthquake. Cool. He might be running Physical this week, but you never know. They sometimes run Ice Splits out with it. He's going to Toxic me. I'm okay with that. I'm going to Ice Beam this thing first, and then I'm going to... I wasn't sure if he was going to stay in at this point, because I do try to usually speed control in this, so I'm just going to T-Wave him on this turn. And I'm just going to kind of fire off some Ice Beams. Yeah, we're behind the 8 ball. At this point, I'm going to need a lot of help to get back here and actually make this competitive. Because it's down to a Scarfmon, a Mon that gets outspit. Like, that Shaman just wrecks me this week. As you can see, as we go between returns, and he does get parried twice here in a row. I did get immobilized by Love twice. I feel like those kind of cancel each other out. Because it did lead. I know a Granville Big Altair switch isn't, yeah. Them together aren't the same, but it does help. He's just going to go down to a Skull. I can't do anything there at this point. The rest of his team pretty much outspeeds me. So I had to go into Hans. God, I love you, Hans. At this point, once again, I'm just going to expect him to switch out his Zapdos, and I'm just going to Rock Slide. I cannot click Earthquake until this thing is gone. At that point, it is 2-8 KO, so I realized that, so I knew I just had to keep clicking Rock Slide. I do another one, 31%. I'm like, cool. After Leptos, I'd need a roll here. I get a low roll, so shit, but then I do get a flinch. Does kind of help out. I can fire off another one and take out the Melodic. At that point, I'm like, okay, maybe I can do this at this point. I might be able to bring it back. He's just going to go for Ice Shard. Okay, whatever. As long as this hits, we're down to 2-2. Hey, and then it does hit. So I knock out the Minimus Fine. But then, once again, Shaman comes in. I can't do this. I can't one-shot it. And a Life Orb Earth Power is going to outspeed and one-shot the rest of my team at this point. Like I said, good game. He just beat me this week. I don't think I really had any big misplays. The only thing I could have done differently was I had that Manaphy Melodic. I think it was Melodic he was in on. Yeah, and he switched out into Magneton. The only thing I could have done differently would have been go for a Scald, because it does about 90% to it. At that point, he has to go for a Thunderbolt. He cannot let me stay in there, and he can't try to predict around me. I could have gone out to Excadrill or Nidoking at that point, eating it up, and then just started firing off whatever I could. The only thing was, at that point in the game, his checks were just too healthy. That Melodic would have came in if I would have gone to Nido, and I think I'm pretty sure he was at full health at that point. Or just about. I would have been able to two-shot him. He would have been around. He would have taken it out. If I would have gone to Excadrill, he would have just gone out into Zapdos, and I would not have been able to two-shot it. The reason I did like that play, though, I wasn't against it. It's just it didn't work out for me. Was at that point, nothing could take a +3 Ice Beam, Scald, or Energy Ball. Melodic could. Melodic can't do anything back to me at this point, because I'm assuming he was just running Toxic, Recover, Scald, and the Ice Beam for my Mega Step Telefib Rottie. And the game then pretty much came down to if I would have lived a Ice Shard at that point, which I could have if he wasn't Life Orb, if he was just like a lead Sash type, which I did think he was to get up rocks, or any sort of non-Life Orb, I had a better chance of living than not. And then it would have came down to a speed type with the Shaman, unless I'm pretty sure he was running a positive speed nature, because if Ice Beam would have easily killed him, Ice Beam would easily kill the Zapdos, the Mega Altaria. I could have Energy Balled and two-shotted the Melodic easily, and the Scald would have knocked out the Mammoth Spine. So it just came down to I didn't have anything for the Shaman. The Shaman put a huge hole in my team, and that's a good game, Ruben. You deserve this to win this one. Sorry about the hacks to bring it even that close, but good 2-0 victory. And yeah, that's about it. I'll see you for our week 3 matchup.